Leo Roswald M. Tugunon. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Please inform me if my internet connection is not good. Can you see the
Okay, sir.
screen that I share? What about my voice? Is it loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next.
Sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, this morning we are going to have an orientation about ethics in the workplace or work ethics. This is very vital, especially that you will be distributed to the different companies or industries that may be related to your field of specialization. Basic is the rule that before we will work and our come to work, we always assure that we are prepared. We always assure that we are ready to face all the challenges and the everything that we may be confronting with during our presence in the workplace. So we always assure the management that we are a good follower, we are a good soldier, and we do not complain unless otherwise there is a need, and it is within the bounds of our rights as a worker, as an employee. Now, I believe that the objective of this orientation is for you to be able to grasp or at least understand, not necessarily comprehensively, because we'll be having a short discussion only, because the study of work ethics will then take supposedly maybe 1 to 2 days training. But since this is just an orientation, maybe an hour would be enough. We will just discuss the most significant features about ethics in the workplace. Okay, how important are ethics in today's society? Now we have to understand that the people are having this perception about ethics that it depends upon their own belief. Sometimes we think that our action is ethical, but for some, our action is unethical. Bali ang nahitabo ni Ani, it depends upon how people would perceive our actions. Uh, we cannot stop them from making that necessary, making that presumption, because we cannot read their minds. So, in other words, when we say ethics, it involves morality of actions, right? It involves what is right, what is wrong, ethical, unethical, immoral, or moral. In the workplace, we have to understand that the management may have their own standards. And as an employee, as an individual, we do also have our standards. So, in other words, there is this so-called a sort of maybe the existence of discrepancy, because our standard may not be the standard of the company, and the company's standard may not be the standard, which is our personal standards. So, how are we going to settle or reconcile this particular uh, predicament or problem? Now, remember that in every company, they do have the so-called ethical standard. That ethical standard is a result of a long process of discussion. Why? Because when the company formulate their ethical standard, they also consider the individual behavior, individual actions, and the individual perception of the employee, for example. No? I'm talking now as an employee because you will be going to the different companies soon, hopefully before, hopefully this semester or any time of this year. No? So I will just pretend that you are already in the company, you're already worker, an employee. Kaya nga tumigid mo padulong. After this, even if OJT pa mo, end of the day, pag graduate ninyo, you will become an employee soon in your own field of specialization. You will bring with you this orientation as important as a person, because bringing this ethics, work ethics in your company where you will be working soon, that is a very good preparation, right? Because there could be different challenges that may come from when you already work in the particular company. At least if you have this ethics or ethical work ethics in the workplace, then you are prepared to face all these challenges. Now, going back, as I have said, ethics is a morality of actions. It is somehow the discovery of what is right and what is wrong. As I have said, many things that their actions, their behavior is correct or right, but for some it is wrong. So it depends how people will perceive. So in order to reconcile this thing, the company will always formulate and develop their company rules and regulation. That company rules and regulation is already the company ethical standard. So much so that if you violate, if you do not follow that company rules and regulation, is the same as you are not following the company ethical standards, then that would be considered as a violation of the company rules. And violation of the company rules or the ethical standards would tantamount to an action or to a behavior that can be the reason why an employee will be terminated, or the reason why an employee will be dismissed, or the reason why an employee will be suspended from the work. And we do not want to arrive at that particular situation. The only safest thing to do is to follow these company rules. This is important. In today's society, all of the companies have their own ethical standards. Even if we think that that standard will violate your personal standard, the fact that we are an employee, we do have to follow the rules, we do have to follow the company standards, then we have no choice except to follow. Because if you do not follow the same, as I have said, you might be suspended, you might be terminated. Although, wala may magpuguni mo nga di ka mo follow, pero there will be consequences. And you also have the right not to continue engaging in this kind of work, not to proceed with this work with this company if you think that their standards, ethical standards, violates your own personal standards. Bahala na mo. But at the end of the day, if you love your work, you also have to love the company, because you are already part of the organization. And the reason why the company has its standard is for us employees to comply uniformly, right? Uniform ng standards. It does not apply only to the management. It does not apply only to a particular employee. It applies to all members of the organization, be it an official, be it the administrator, be it the management, or even an ordinary employee or a supervisor. It applies to all, because there will be equitable distribution and uniform application of the ethical standards. If the company official management violates the standards, then they could also be held liable. They could also be dismissed. They could be suspended, depending after trial or hearing and the findings of existence of the violation. The administration, the management of the particular company could render a decision suspending or terminating or dismissing a particular official. If the official could be dismissed or suspended, how much more us, kita mga ordinaryo ng mga empleyado. So that is very important. That is why we have to follow the company rules and regulation. We have to follow the company standards. All right? The same thing with those policies that are existing in the company. Now, what are these policies? What are these rules and regulations, which we will be tackling later on in relation to the 10 areas in work ethics that you should have to understand and you should have to value the same. Now, remember also, as a generalization, if we work, we must bring with us a strong work ethics. The company does not need, will not hire an employee with weak work ethics. They always find an applicant that possesses the so-called strong work ethics. Now, who probably will be this person with strong work ethics? Now, these applicants, these employees who are possessing strong work ethics may be the person or employee with positive approach. Now, what do we mean by this positive approach? These are employees that are looking at to the positive impact of whatever contributions they made to the company. They always think positive, right? They do not refuse. They always accept. They always perform. This is positive approach. For example, I am your supervisor. I am asking you to report at 7 o'clock. Although the contract of employment says you are going to report at 9 o'clock, for example lang. But the supervisor said, please report tomorrow by 7 o'clock. Then you might be thinking now, why? Sa iyo man, sir, 9 o'clock, 7 pa man. 9 o'clock ako duty niya, 7 mo pasunod ninyo. So, that violates my personal line. Now, there may be reason of the supervisor for why you were asked to go to work at 7 instead of 9. Or maybe the reason is that there are things that you should finish, or your office or your division or your section needs to comply because there is a requirement to be submitted on time, and the only way is to musayo mo, for example. So that's a positive approach. You need to follow the same. Do not complain anymore. At the end of the day, in every pain there is always incentives, there is always an achievement, there is always success. So do not forget about it. Ayaw kwintahang oras, because kwintahon nimo ang oras, then you do possess weak work ethics. You are not supposed to do that. Individuals, employees possessing weak, strong ethics do not have a room of opportunity in their company. Why? Because you will have a negative impression from the management. Ayaw na siya kay magkwintag oras, right? So that's a normal perception and effect of individual or employees na magsigig balibad, labi naghangyong sa management. Ako, I would like to share to you, I love to be called by the president. I love to be called by my boss. Yeah, I love nga ang akong boss, ako supervisor, immediate supervisor, will be asking my help. I love to hear those things. Do you know why? Because when your boss asks the same, I would always think that they trust me. I would like to emphasize that when my boss said, can you work this tomorrow at 7 o'clock? I'd love to work for it. The reason? Because I would like to believe that they have trust and confidence in me, and that I am an asset of our institution or an asset of our company or agency. That is an example of positive approach. Okay. Another strong work ethics of an employee is the so-called productive approach. How could you be productive in the organization? How could you be productive in the company when you are always looking at the time? You have things to complete, but you always say, di ni na ko kaya sa tulo ka adlaw. Kinahanglan kog additional 1 week pa ni ani. Right? Or if not, kinahanglan ko mag-overtime pirme for 1 week para mahuman din ako. That is not a productive approach. I will tell you, there was this, if not commissioner or a director of the civil service, dili siya ganahan nga ang iyang mga employee pagsigilag overtime. Do you know the reason why this director or commissioner ba to sa civil service? Kalimot lang ko. Forgive me if I'm wrong about their title. But her reason, babae man to, hindi siya masugot nga na mag-request for overtime. Because she will always have that in mind. Nagunsa man di ay ka during sa 8 hours, nga daw di man mo ma-perform, nga naman say man kag overtime. The fact na nag-overtime ka, ang iyang impression in mind is that you are not working in the 8 regular hours of work. Ana, so you are not productive during the 8 hours of work. Karon, og mahumana nimo ang mga requirements nimo, ang imong work, kay magsige kag overtime, sa to pa, productive ka kung mag-overtime. Dili ka productive during the regular hours of work. Which is not good. Because ang sige kag overtime, that entails another expenses of the company. And under the labor code, nabiyay mga overtime pay. O niya, ang overtime pay pa mo fall pag yung holiday. So just like that, madoble plus 30%, no? Depende sa holidays, depende po sa hours of work imo render as overtime. Motis niya ako sa civil service director, siguro to siya, commissioner ba ito? She does not want an employee na mag-request of overtime. Because she feels that when you ask for overtime, you are not performing your work during the regular hours of work. Nag-unsa man niya ka. No? Niya kanira bang, no, especially sa uban ng kumpanya na, mga empleyado nga medyo maghimbanan tayo sa oras, because they know nga mag-overtime siya at 6 o'clock, or 7 o'clock, for example, overtime siya 7 to 11 in the evening, ay yung trabaho up to 5 o'clock. Okay, pag 4 o'clock dili na mo trabaho, nga naman magawa na lang mo time out 5, total mo balik mag 7. So ang akong trabaho unon nga matrabaho unta na ako from 4 to 5, she said akong trabaho na nito sa 7 to 11. So you were not productive during the regular hours of work. You become productive during the overtime. The reason, because you are receiving an overtime pay. That is not a productive approach. As much as possible, if di gyud malik kayan, ayaw pag overtime. Because the company will always entail another expenses for additional salary or pay, which we call as overtime pay. Although na may uban, for example, sa bangko, the banking institutions, sige ka lang overtime, right? Well, there is also a situation or an instance where justifiable ang pag-overtime, especially if underman sila, no? Kulang ang ilang tao. Meaning, one employee is working the works of 2 employees. For example, just like that. So, tulo ang iyang gitrabaho. Bali, tulo siya. Katao ang iyang gitrabaho. Then, you could expect a person to complete on time. You can't expect a person to perform the works of another person. Di man ta Superman. If you request for overtime, then that is justifiable. That is reasonable. But if you're just performing your own work, for example, nadihado ka kay sige ka leave, no? Nag-leave ka kay birthday sa imong anak, nag-leave ka. Sunod si asmana, nag-leave na ka, birthday na po nimo. Sunod si manang, nag-leave na po ka kay birthday sa imong asawa, for example. So 3 days ka nag-leave, 3 days na pending ang imong work to be finished or completed in a month. Unya kay ginaan naman kasi yung manager and supervisor, you need to submit it Friday, for example. And today is Tuesday. You need to submit it on Friday. Okay. Then you were asking the boss, sir, I cannot do that. I need additional days. Daghan ka yung trabaho, di na kumato. Now, what is usually the impression of the manager? Me, good manager, kay nag-leave ka man good. Pag-apply biya ni mo, kipangutan na biya kita. Are you willing to sacrifice? Ang usual tubag yun, usual answer sa mga applicants, yes sir, I am willing to sacrifice. Right. What important to you? Family or work? That is the usual interview questions. Na ipangutanan ninyo. Of course, our usual answer is, yes sir, I choose my work than my family. Because what can I give to my family if I do not work? Di Jamaji, masad ka. Diba? Nakabati pa ba muna ako?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sige. So,
Yes,
so
sir.
ano ang situation? Ano ang situation? Tinood niya atang result eh. Ginawang yun manager and supervisor. Okay, sige. Tagaan kag overtime, pay. O, timasa, nahuman yun yung Friday. So, while na-complete ni mo pag nag-overtime ka, that it entails another expenses of the company. May yung kumpanya cancel na tawhana. Although may ka, I have the right also to file a leave kay na go birthday. Okay, imo nang right. But again, naamang good na say mga naamang good trabaho nga gisumpaan. When we work, what are these important thing that you should possess? One, commitment, loyalty, dedication. Maginamba sa mga trabaho ta. You are committed to perform your job, committed to comply or finish or complete your requirements, for example. Sama rin sa kamo, estudyante. Sama rin ko din nyo. Are you committed to comply the requirements sa inyong program? Because if not, then that kind of character that you do possess will be carried on sa pagpanarbaho ninyo. And that would be a very big problem. Kung madana ninyo ang trait ninyo. So you change now. So that is productive approach. As much as possible, you should always be considered as contributory to the success of the organization. You should have contribution. You should be committed and loyal. Right? So dapat na-adyo kay output permanente ay hatag. Dili kay na kay output tungod kay ga-overtime ka. Because kanang output nimo nga gihatag samtang nag-overtime ka, di na output sa kumpanya. Unsa man sa kumpanya? Expenses na nila. Minus na sa ilang income, minus na sa ilang profit. Just like that. Remember, business sector biyaning ang inyong sudlan. Kumpanya, which is called as business sector. And when it is called as business sector because it is created to gain profit. People or employees who always work overtime, usually managers, would have a negative impression on them. And what will happen next? You will have difficulty in promotion. And if you're contractual, that is a very big problem. Why? Because you might not be renewed, or your contract of employment will not be renewed anymore, because you have created a negative impression to the company. So dapat productive approach, positive approach, right? And strong work ethic means do not wait for praises. You don't need praises. Dili kay may naas si boss, magtrabaho ko. Ako ita ni boss nga kaya ko ni na para maka-award ko, ma-promotion ko. Okay, that is not a strong work. That is vested interest. Right? You work for the company. Remember that. That's the first priority. Kaya pag pang-apply biya na to, moingon biya gud ang supervisor. What is important to you? Family or work? And we do always consider work. Right? Otherwise, commitment good. So work yun. So it's a matter of justification. I work for my family, right? So maninggo jud kag trabaho. But when you work, ay og pabilib, pakitang tao, no? Paspas ka mo trabaho kay na ang manager, na ang president ng chief executives organization, no? Kaya nagpabilib ka kani, you do not possess a strong work ethics. Weak work ethics na. Right? We work for the company. We work because we are dedicated. We work because we are committed. We work because it is our role, it is our job. We do not wait for praises. If it will come to us, that's the initiative of the administration. That's the initiative of the management. Okay, dawaton na. Right? Dawaton na siya. Og nasa lang ihatag ninyo, tugay nalipay sila ninyo, okay, dawaton lang po natin. Incentive man na siya. Reward man na sa imong pagpanarbaho. Pat ka nang miyong ka, ako din trabahoon, aron mailahan ko, or ma-promote ko. Sa vested interest ka na siya. Promotion comes later on. In a natural way. Remember that. Pugson kayo ni magpanarbaho, pabilib ka na diha. Pakita ni mo nga ikaw tanan, ikaw na. Subay-abon na pa, ikaw na. Right? Ang tendency na mayon ang imong co-workers maako-akoon kag trabaho. O maako-akoon kag trabaho if you fail. Good if imo ma-overcome those mga challenges. But at the end of the day, ang imong co-employees, ang even your supervisors will always think ang bugiro na sad ka. Right? Kaya may giapas man ka ng incentive, which is not good. But sometimes incentives becomes a motivation also. So it depends upon the situation. So that is positive approach, productive approach. Another thing in strong work ethic, dapat proactive ka. What is meant by proactive? You do not wait to be taught. Find ways. Right? Para bag BDO ba? BDO. We find ways. Diba?
Dito sir.
BDO. Kailan mo BDO? Kailan mo BDO? Bangko di ba na? Bangko ba? Oh, di ba unsa nang unsa may ilang pahinom do, di ba? Sakto ba ko ilapay?
Mind and ways.
We find ways. Di ba?
Waste pa.
Find ways. Okay. That is very good.
Hoy, ang manok.
That is proactive.
Tuka ng manok, tuka.
That is proactive. Right? Sipat yan ng manok ninyo. Atong lutuon ang itinola. So dapat proactive ka. Dapat proactive ka. Right? You should have an initiative. You should have an initiative. If you were tasked to perform this particular job and it's your first time, di ka familiar sa trabaho, what will you do? What will you do? As a proactive employee, what will you do? Of course, you will ask questions from your supervisors. You ask questions to your co-workers. Alright? What may mawa ni magbangutana ka? You research. Right? You research. That's proactive. There was a time that I was assigned at the Human Resource Management of the local government of Ormoc. City government of Ormoc. The city of beautiful people. Yun pa sila. Di ako sa HR assigned before. Because I've been connected with the Human Resource LG or MOC for about 8 years before I transferred to the Palumpon Institute of Technology. There was a time na nagtrabaho ko sa Human Resource Management. Okay. My work was to make the appointments of the job order and to assist my coworker in making the appointments of the casual employees. But all of a sudden, they assigned to me as the focal person for the GSIS, which I don't have knowledge at all. Mga reconciliation reports, wag kalibutan. Right? So what did I do? No one can teach me. Kaya ang worker na assign na may resign. Ang ako pong boss, di familiar. So what did I do? Well, nagbasa ko sa GSIS rules. Nag-ask ko sa other employees nga medyo ang ilang work related po dito sa GSIS, then I even called the GSIS personnel what to do. Because I have been receiving emails, reports, I do not know what to do. So I called the GSIS, can you teach me, ma'am? All right. Then I keep on asking questions, I keep on calling them until mingon sa GSIS, proactive juga sir, no? You don't need to be supervised. You know what to do. Ginaan ko nila. Right? Dili ni paghambog na ko, ha? This is just an example of proactive approach. Ginaan ko, proactive juga sir. Minimum supervision na jud ka. You find ways, right, to complete your job. You find ways to learn about your job. Right. So mo naging ako. We find ways. Okay. Very important if you do possess a strong work ethic is that show to your boss that you can do. Right? Show to your boss that you can do. Show that you can work with minimum supervision. Right? I will repeat. Show that you can do and show that you can work with minimum supervision. But you should also know your boundaries. Okay. So, unsa man na siyang know your boundaries? Kaya di makapwede manghilabot sa trabahong uban. While dapat naka-initiative, naka-nana, but you also have to consider your limits because there are work boundaries. Kung sa accounting na nga trabaho niya, ikaw na-adire sa HR, ayaw panlabot. Ayaw mandui. Ayaw tudlui. Because they know better than you. Right? Ilago ng field. If you can share, share lang, but not to the extent na naging dominant ka. Inang kakahambog na ba din mo, ay makuakuon ng mga trabaho. Okay. Know your boundaries. Show that you can do. Show that you can work with minimum supervision. Know your boundaries. Show that you are capable of doing things which is right. Or show that you're capable of doing the right thing. Right? Yeah, voluntariness. As much as possible. Right? Show that you are willing to comply. Show that you're willing to report on time. Show that you are willing to help the company. So there is willingness on your part. If you do have these things as a worker, then you do possess the so-called strong work ethics. Alright? Now you might be asking me now, sige sir, then unsa man tong weak? Unsa man tong weak work ethics? Well, I have said it already. If you work following this strong work ethics with all this positive approach, productive approach, contrary to the same, will always be considered as work ethics. If you work because you want to be praised, that is weak. If you work because you're after for the incentive, that is weak work ethics. Right? Then kanang uban maingon, unya na lang na, oy. Kaya raman na mahuman ako. Yeah. Ano bang unya-unya system? That is a weak work ethics. Can you work with this, sir? Can you help Mr. Employee A to work with him to finish? You mean ka, iya man trabaho, sir. Ay, ako, napsad na. Da pa magtrabaho, sir. So there is unwillingness on your part. Unwillingness to cooperate, unwillingness to help. That is weak work ethics. I am not saying, right? I am not saying nga imo pong dawaton tanan kay mapiktuhan po ang imong performance sa imong kaguliyong assigned task. But at least show that you are willing to help. Because an unwilling employee possesses a weak work ethics. Employees who work only because of the incentive, because of the promotion, because of money, weak work ethics na. Employees who work because of personal interest, weak work ethics ka po. Right? Watchful of the time, labi na. Himantayon sa oras. Wapagay, sus, Sa gobyerno, I will tell you, I've been with the human resource lagi. O pag ay alas 5, quarter to 5, tuan na naglinya sa bandiklak. Bandiklak man to ni Adto. Ang uban, tuan na sa kanang kung saan tawag karon fingerprint naman na ron o sa mata. Unsa na siya nga kuan. Digital na nga digital bandiklak. O pag ay biometric, thank you very much. That's the biometric. 10 minutes to 5 pagani. Naglinya lang dito sa biometric line. O dito sa bandiklak ang uban. Ang uban 15 minutes na kani. Ang uban 4:30 pa. Naglaag na lang sa isikopsina chismis na. Namaw na siyang computer daan. Right. Weak na. Weak work ethics. And that is equivalent to corruption. The same principle applies to private business companies na inyong sudlan. Kung asa man mo ibutang, kung asa mo mudawat. Example, engineer mo. Example, sabihin yung field of specialization ninyo. Automotive, example. Masud mo sa mga car industry, for example. Right? Mechanical thing. Di ay tiwasunan. Biyaan na. Kay 4:30 pa, huwag na tayo, kapoy na kaayo. Yeah. Nato, lingkod-lingkod na lang. Remember that you are paid up to 5 p.m. Remember that. If you stop at 4:30, 30 minutes, huwag kami trabaho, naglaroy-laroy ka lang na, that is cheating. That is corruption. Why? Because you receive the amount that you were paid from 4:30 to 5 without doing something. That's still corruption. That's weak work ethics. That's counting time. Ayaw mo na. Sa government, naman kami yung mga panunumpa ng kawani ng gobyerno. Usa sa line dito, na usay hilasan ko. Kadaghan kaayo nag-violate ka na maingon. Kuan, kanang magtatrabaho kami ng lampas ng takdang oras kung kinakailangan. Sus. Maingon dahil ng uban empleyado. Ang gibutang raman po sa panunumpa, magtatrabaho ng lampas sa takdang oras kung kinakailangan. Kung kinakailangan, if necessary. So nga naman, di ba necessary? Ito din kung palapas sa oras. Something like that. No. If you have your clients, I will tell you, if you have your clients, 5:10, abot, what will you do? You will refuse? You will refuse to perform your job because 5:10 na? Yung 5 o'clock lang trabaho nimo? No? Dili pwede na nga i-refuse nimo siya na imong pabalikon kay alas 5 na. No! Ako, I have not been practicing that because I've been with the human resource management. Makauli may tag 6 o'clock without overtime pay na. Because need man. Because necessary man. Napagod ang client. Example, ang client bisod 4:30. Ang yang documents, kailangan ma-out by pahuman na mag 5:15. Ngayon, day ko, 5 o'clock naman maugma na lang ni. Uy, if it can be finished by 5:10, then so be it. Bisag malapas ka pag 10 minutes because magtrabaho na lampas sa taktang oras kung kinakailangan. And it is kinakailangan man, mahuman. Right. Necessary man. Durang uban, so silasan ko. Magbid niya daan dito. Okay. So, kinanglan na kanamoy gitawag na ito nga strong work ethics. Okay. Are you able to understand everything that I have been discussing here? Just
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hope so, no? I hope so, but paminaw ang katapusan na po ngayon ko. Loud and clear ninyo? Yes, sir. Pero katong previous sessions na to, tingali, iwa mo na pa. Anyway, in today's society. Okay. Ethics is about values, right? Are you, excuse me, medyo na interruption gamay. Paki-off lang sa inyong microphone, please. Okay.
Off mic.
Okay. uh, kuan. Okay. Just imagine that you are in an airplane and I am your captain, right? I am the pilot. Just sit down, fasten your seat belt, and I will take care of you. So just listen. Okay. So we have been discussing collection of values and behaviors which people feel are moral. Okay. Which people feel are moral. Claro kayo. In other words, ethics is the name we give to our values or good behavior. The collection of all these values and actions that people feel are appropriate in the workplace. Di klaro din eh. Actions that people feel appropriate in the workplace. When the company formulates its company standards, rules, and regulation, they always ensure that these standards are appropriate in the workplace. Because naman pa yung mga agencies sa gobyerno na magtanaw ana nila sama sa Department of Labor and Employment at DOLE. This is the agency where we can ask for help if the company is doing kanang yun na to is doing something against our principle or against our work, doing kanang violating our employees' rights. Naman po na sila. So they are always making sure that their standards, rules and regulation and policies are appropriate in the workplace, right? And that it also observes these so-called equitable employees' rights. Ana, pwede man na sila malayable po sa balaod, no? Naman natong DOLE, Department of Labor, we can always go to DOLE if we feel that our rights as an employee is being violated by also ask help from the Department of Labor. Okay. Bona. Work ethics, performance standards, to be successful in a career, you must possess both strong occupational skills and good work ethic. To have a successful career, both are needed. Your skill, occupational skill. What are your courses? Probably automotive, I know, engineering. Oh, maybe it's a mixture of one. So example, engineer ka, medyo kay imong kakulihon nga engineering skill. Automotive ka, okay, napog ka na. Will be applying to a company that is aligned, vertically aligned sa imong skill, occupational skills. Possessing this is occupational skill, would not make you a successful person with a successful career. As I have said, you need to have work ethics, right? Because kung mag-apply ka, for example, mag-apply ka, when the human resource management and the selection personnel of the company are looking at your credentials, you have work experiences, no? In company A, company B, company C, company D. So 5 ang imong natrabahuhan nga kumpanya. Iba-iba. Nya, tag 6 months lang. What do you think is the impression of the management? What do you think is the impression of the human resource management? Probably they will be thinking, tag 6 months naman siya, lalain magtrabahuan. All right. So they might be wondering why. They might be having this impression, probably na siya problema sa iyang attitude, sa iyang behavior, or probably kanintawhana garbuso ba ni siya? Because that is not also good. Even if you think that you have credentials na iba-iba imong gitrabahuan, yet short period of time lang. Ang may tabo na lang, human resource management will be conducting a background investigation yun na sa imo. Alright? Background investigation na. They must be asking you, why? Ako, mangutana jud ko na yung mga applicant, before this sa human resource pa ko. Yeah. Unya, that has focus PIT na we are selecting because we are hiring also an instructor sa department. I was considering that I am the program chair. I am one of the members of the panel. I always look at the work experience credentials. Then I always ask them. I am not judging them immediately, but I verified the reports based on their credentials. Why? Why were you connected before and after 3 months, after 6 months, after you keep on transferring? You also have to be fair. You also have to be fair. Ayaw lang po pag-jump dayon sa conclusion. Ayaw lang sa dayon pag-jump sa conclusion because that you might judgmental. Right? There might be reasons nga nung wa sila nagdugay sa kumpanya. For example, basta ganahay sa kumpanya, kay nilingig kayong kumpanya, dili manghatag sweldo on time. Kana, bulman ang mobalhin ka. Okay? Or nilad ang supervisor, nilad ang manager, or nakalalis manager for a reason. Okay. So that's being there. Remember, sa trabaho, you rather look, not for a high salary, but you look for a company with good managers and good organizations. I would rather go to the organization or company, bahala gamay sweldo, basta nindot ang leadership, nindot ang management, nindot ang organization. Then we can work with until we retire. Dako tog sweldo pero ang batasan po sa manager, batasan po sa management, kualan sad, ngilngig po kayo. So that is not good. And it may be the reason why the applicants may be having a work experience, transfer in a short period of time from different companies. All right? So you must have occupational skills and good work ethics. Okay. I think I still have time. These are the next thing that I will be discussing. Mga mga importante that you should have to possess work ethic traits. There are 10 areas you really need to have these things. You need to show this to your workplace. Right? Pag-apply ninyo daan gani, dapat wa pagay mo ka-perform sa trabaho, at least the panel na nag-interview nimo, the manager for example, the HR for example, at least makita nila dayon ang imong character that you do possess work ethics. Kung ako ay manager, I will tell you, dili kay ko ganahan sa kanang mga daghan og mga nahibaw-an. Right? Secondly, kanang mga I do not really look at the excellent credentials. Right? Because what I hire, if I'm the manager, I do not look at the excellent credentials. I look at the person as an individual, if he is a good individual and he is willing to work with the organization. Ana. Kaya sometimes kaning excellent credential usahay, it results to tendency nga mo look down, tendency nga kanang underestimate sa mga kauban, tendency nga mo labaw pa sa supervisor, tendency nga mura na sa CA manager mo na siya basta daghan ang nahibawan. Right? Tendency nga mo criticize sa palisiya, tendency nga mo comment sa mga trabaho sa uban nga dili ka mao, something like that. That is because nasa excellent credentials. Because excellent credentials should be added to good work ethics. Remember that. Okay, let us start. Attendance. Attendance, simple lang kaayo. Right? Attend 90% or more of the required class time or work time. Right? As much as possible, minimize your absences. O absent man gani na kung mahimo kana yung reasonable kadili mausik. Although naman tay mga gitawag na to nga kuan, naman tay gitawag nga kanang compulsory leave. Right? Mandatory leave. Whether you like it or not, whether mag-leave ka o dili, i-deduct na sa imong leave credits. Okay, i-avail na lang po na. I-avail na. Pero kanang absent ka kay di ko ganahan mo trabaho ko lang kay kapoy. something like that, well, that is not reasonable. Unless you are not feeling well siguro, okay. Of course, absent magyuta. Hindi ba ta mga robot, right? You should manage tardiness because habitual tardiness is equivalent to absenteeism also. Oh. Kay kanang mga oras nga late ka, anong gitawag man nga absent gyapon ka. Tungod kay kanang oras nga late ka, wa man ka diha. So equivalent ka absent ka na mga orasa. And habitual tardiness would tantamount to absenteeism also because you were absent on that particular hour, right? Then of course, as a sign of respect, do not be absent if you do not give notice to your immediate supervisor, right? As much as possible, you plan. Kano sa kung absent, then you plan ahead of time. You notify ahead of time. Unless lagi, justified because you are sick. So you're entitled to sick leave. Alright. And be prepared for work. Reading your assignments in order for you to be able to complete your job. Alright. Even if you are present in your workplace, but you're mentally absent, you are not productive, right? Even if you are physically present in the company, but you do not perform your job, that is still equivalent to absent, right? You need to participate in all the activities by contributing to work discussion, completing your work assignments, and involved in the activities. Then begin and end work expected. Use work time appropriately. Ay sama ra gud sa magklase mo, right? Di ba? Di man gud kalikayan ng mga absent mo kay mas mo pairal ra ba usahay ang tapol. Kung kanang pagkatapulan sa usa ka estudyante, hangtod iyan ang dadon pagtrabaho tapulan gyapon na siya. He will really find difficulties in applying or in employee retention. So attendance is always a must. Remember, employees who are always absent do not have room for promotion and work opportunity. Do not be absent. Okay. So attendance, perfect, good attendance is expected. It is the cornerstone of advancement. Remember that. Cornerstone of advancement. If I am your manager, matay, dong, inaambit ka pa, huwag sa dong. Oh, okay lang, sir. Makaya man, sir. Oh, alright. Then, the manager would have a positive impression. Okay, nindot yung bata. You really have a bright future in the company. Right? When you are present, make sure that you are also working. Right? So, dependability, reliability, marketability. Kaya physical presence nimo is not enough. You need to work. Number 2, character. Display a high level of effort and commitment to performing and completing work. I've been telling you this a while ago. Right? Ipakita your high level of effort and commitment. That you really want to work, that you really want to perform your job. You will complete as required by your boss. That's a good character. That is strong work ethic. Be honest in all situations. Be honest even if others are not, will not, and cannot. Pareha ra sa classroom. Mag-exam. Be honest even if your classmate is not, your seatmate are not. Because honestly will continue to be the best policy. Right? When you have demonstrated trustworthiness, it means to say you are responsible employee. When you show that you can be trusted, people will rely on you. Managers will rely on you. When you demonstrate that you can be trusted, the managers will have confidence on you. will have trust and confidence, will rely on you, will depend on you. And at the end of the day, you will have a room for opportunity. Loyalty, reliability, discipline, initiative. I've been telling you this, but I would like to emphasize on this: self-discipline. Self-discipline. Kaya naman, even if the managers, because na may mga manager nga buutan kaayo ba? Kaya mga manager ba nga kanang dili gay mindful pod sa mga empleyado, sige absent, right? Sige lakaw-lakaw. Nya daghan waste nga mga on paper kay magsige nagpanguha unya kada print out sige tabi so masayop na sad something like that. Nya musod late, musod medyo pilaw pa kay humog. So sige lag half day, something like that. Or upay 5 o'clock mag-undertime na pod siya kay kapoy siya, kay pilaw siya. So in other words, walay disiplina. If you perform all those negative, at the end, you will be facing administrative charges. Right? Because in every undisciplined action of yours, there is always a damage that will be what? Moabot sa kumpanya. Kung mag-undertime ka katilaw ka unsa may damage masustain sa kumpanya, possibly dili ma-process ang mga dokumento o wa na process, wa na pirmahe sa manager, wa may gawas ang budget, wa na purchase, for example, ang mga materyales na gamiton sa project sa kumpanya kay usa ka construction firm di ang imong lisudnan, usa ka construction firm ang inyong kumpanya. So at the end, sa imong pagkatapulan, sa imong pagkaabsiniro, sa imong pagkahubog, wa ka disiplina, it causes damage to the organization, and as a consequence, it will cause damage to you because you will surely be suspended or you will be terminated. When you will be suspended, you do not receive your salary and bonuses during the suspension time. If you are terminated in this space, then you will never receive any at all. So dapat disiplinado ka. Lisod ra ba kuan usbon, pero better late than never. Kaya kanila bang Filipino as mostly they said nga wag gyud disiplina ang Pinoy. Ako somehow makaingon sa kuna ko time nga wa ko disiplina. Right. Lisod i-change ang naging kultura nato. But as I have said, better change now because late is better than never. Loyalty, of course, in return for salary and benefits, the firms expects loyalty. Okay, you are given a good salary, you are given a good benefit, right? Clothing, bonuses, 13 month, 14 month, and incentive pagyod, mga rewards and recognition, plus mag-outing pagyod for free bugas, free manok, whatsoever. Yeah, possible promotion pagyod. Right. In return, what will you do? In return, what will you do? In return of those things that were given to you, that really for your benefit, you have to give loyalty, commitment, and dedication. Because they're expecting of it. And it is expected of you to perform the same. With loyalty comes a sense of pride. Right? Employees must keep company secrets. Okay. Because you're part of the organization. Right? Ayaw ibulgar because you are not the right person to do that. Let there be the proper committee, the management, the administrator, or your boss or immediate supervisor. Do those things. Do the revelation. Sila na, dili ko. The more the company succeeds, the more you will succeed. That is true. If you are loyal, you perform your job well, and the company succeeds, well, you will be part of that success. You will also be succeeding. Right? Sama sa mag-increase mong salary, increase mo bonuses, maka-reward mo, mga promote mo, kaya nabuhay ang kumpanya. Remember, symbiotic relationship ra ba na? Right? The success, the survival of the company depends how the employees support the company. And the survival of the employees depends on how the company supports them. So, reciprocal na ba ngayon mo? Alright? Okay. Loyalty. Right or wrong, harm, purity, fairness, and authority. You know what is right. And you know also what is wrong. But sometimes, we were able to understand what is right because we have committed a wrong. Remember. Sometimes it's difficult for a person. Difficult yun. It's very difficult for a person to make him do the right thing. Labi na if he's used to commit wrong. Labi naging sus dugo na niyang magkasayop. It's difficult. But sometimes we commit wrong and make it as an eye opener so that we can be right. Sometimes wrong could be the reason why a person or employee becomes right. Sometimes employees commit wrong and the consequence is that he knows already what to do next. Honesty is always valuable, very important. Si honesty. Kala mo ni honesty? Si Han o si ST. Honesty. Honesty, be honest. Being honest is more than just not taking things. In an 8-hour day, how much time should be spent on task? This is what I've been telling. Kung 8 hours should ka. Alright? Using the company telephone for personal calls, checking email, texting is actually stealing from the company. See? Ano? Gamit kag bond paper? That's not honesty. Gamit kag phone calls? Sa kompanya? For your personal advancement, visa? That's not honesty. Right? Using ballpen? Ihatag mo sa imong anak, pencil? Nga imong tong supply, imong gida sa inyo, mga envelope, mga folders, gida ninyo sa inyo, nagigamit sa imong mga anak. What do you mean by that? That is theft. That is theft. That is dishonesty. That is stealing company properties. You should not do that. Right? Using the company telephone for personal call, checking emails or texting is actually stealing from the company. Klaro kayo na. Honesty is always the best policy. Never lie on your application. Never lie on the timesheet. And never lie on your expense statements. Supposing pang-travel mo, right? Pag-travel mo. Nya, for liquidation purposes, bisag wa ka nag-taxi, imagibutang nag-taxi ka, diin ka mag-resibo, kaya na resibo ng taxi. Gibutang nimo sa imong request for funding sa imong travel, gibutang nimo 500 pesos na taxi fee. Okay. Pero wala ka nag-taxi, nag-jeep ka. So pag-liquidate mo, what will you do? Pangitaan ka mag-resibo sa taxi. Ang mga to ka dito sa mga mall na may mga resibo dito ipambili nala, kuha ka dito, may pangain, panguha, sa meal, butanin mo 150 ka na meal, so nagkuha na ka, nagsaging ka, nagtipid ka, makakwarta ka, pagitaan ka pag liquidation sa papel, resibo sa imong pagkaon, ang mga tutos Jollibee, mga resibo dito, Jollibee, resibo Jollibee, pag liquidation, ibutang na dito, dana siya tiki, tawag kanina na siya resibo sa Jollibee sa iyang food, na siya resibo sa iyang taxi nga ticket, a fee, something like that. Okay. Sa kaysa barko, for example, discounted ka amigo, pero ang pabutang dito sa resibo, ang yun, ang regular fare yun sa barko. What do you call those things? That's a lie. That's dishonesty. Right? Wrong is wrong. Even if everyone is doing it, wrong is wrong. Remember that. Dili ka pwede mo depend nga, si Sir gani, mamagani kibuhat. Oy, Does it follow that your sir is doing it? It means it is right? No. Wrong is wrong even if everyone is doing it. Remember that. Huh? Pag-apply nimo, bisa training, ano mo na yun? Oh. So, di pagka-graduate, gibutangan nimo diha, oh, graduate ka na. Oh. Pero pag pangayon sa imong school, wa ka 8%. Oh, mihawa ka. Oh, dishonesty ka. Right? Remember, if you do wrong things to anyone, in return, they will be doing wrong things unto you. That is why, do not do unto others, even if you do not want others, do it unto you. I will repeat. So do not do unto others if you do not want others, do it unto you. Pareha rin pagpanalbaho sad sa ilang pang istorya. Kana mga empleyado, mga bakbao, mga chismosa, kusog-kusog, manaot sa isig empleyado, ayaw sad mo ni ana. Panagingon, do not do ut others, want others do ut you. Ayaw iduot siya, gusto nga iduot po kaniya. Lahi po itong do not do unto others. Do not do wrong unto others if you don't want these others do it wrong unto you. Ayaw sa iduot na uban, do not do ut others if you don't do others do ut you. So wrong is wrong, then right is right even if no one is doing it. Remember that. Right? Kaya ka nga saktor ka, sakto na imong batwata din na siya. Dili kay mo man ni sakto pero mo magibuhat sa uban, sayop man. Sundo lang to sayop kay masayon man. Masayon ra ba ang wrong kaysa right buhat. Remember that. Okay. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Of course, trustworthiness, I already explained to you. You should have a higher trust because it's equivalent to higher pay, right? Closing or opening the office, kana supervising the others, handing cash, kana especially cashier mo, especially na may mga projects, right? Kung may magkupot sa kwarta, budget, funding, ayaw na niyo pasobra ang mga materials, ang presyo, because at the end of the day, kung sakpan ta, wala salig ang management na to. They do not have trust on you anymore, right? And in every trust that they give to us, ato yun na, suklian yun. All good. Things that they would like to believe that we are trustworthy employee. Right? Initiative, I've been explaining it to you. Keep calm and take initiative. Right? Huwag mo kagabawaan sus, daghan na trabaho ni unsa na mata ni sa mga sales ni sama ni among boss right? Kapoy naman kayo nabuhaton, ako na lang tanan. Keep calm. Keep calm. Just relax. Take the necessary initiative. Step by step. Do your job. Because in every work, there are always hardships. But if you perform those difficult works and difficult situations, you become a hard-working employee. And if you are a hard-working employee, the management will always look at you on the positive side. The management would always think that you deserve an opportunity for professional advancement. Remember that. Self-discipline, self-responsibility. Do not wait for the company to discipline you. Do not wait for administrative charges. Do not wait for your boss to say that you are suspended. Do not wait for the boss to say there is a complaint that you should answer. Huwag ka disiplina. Right? Be a responsible employee. If you are a responsible employee, then you are inculcating upon yourself this so-called self-discipline. The hard part is making the best choice among the alternatives. Remember, ang sayop sayon. Ang insakto lisod. Of course, it's normal for an individual to perform the wrong kay masayon buhaton. Bora na sa gingon na mas lami ang gidili. While lami ang dili gidili. So the hard part is making the best choice. among the alternatives. Self-discipline requires the handling of emotions. Self-discipline is a part of accepting responsibility. Then teamwork, of course. Malalipas-pas ang gamay, hapit na mag 12 o'clock. Teamwork makes the dream work. Remember that. Because we are in the organization, we do contribute everything to the company. We do have our shares to the company. Right? We do cooperate. We foster our commitment, our team spirit. We facilitate cooperation. We respect others' rights. We are cooperative. Teamwork makes the dream work. And of course, normally kani appearance. Siyempre, narbaho ta, dapat gwapo ta, limpyo ta. Not necessarily nga murtag artista. Not necessarily like that. Because dapat makita po, especially if we are facing clients. Dapat i-practice po natong personal hygiene. Baho tag ilok, ba? Ba? Yeah, wear clothes suitable to the job, task, and environment. Ayos, example, automotive ka, niya magbarong ka, di sa ding ana. Right? Di sa ding ana. Magbarong ka, niya, to ka nag-as makina, di sa ding ana. There is an appropriate attire. Right? Appearance, baho na to, ilok, smell, cleanliness. And of course, attitude. Demonstrate positive attitude, self-confidence, self-realistic. Remember this. Attitude is a magnet. What you think is what you attract. Why attitude is a magnet? Because whatever be doing here, it reflects who we are. If we perform wrong, if we display negative attitude, that reflects your personality because it's a magnet. Attitude is a demonstrate positive attitude. Gratitude is the best attitude. Right? Never underestimate the power of proper attitude. Right? Anong uban ningon, good morning sir, good morning ma'am, good morning coworkers, good morning everyone, how's your day? Oh, di ba? Usually ang uban, empleyado. Ngayon din ang uban. Kahilas, good gani. Pagkasipsip, good gana niya. Aron ingnon nga maayos siya. Pasagdi lang. Continue with what you're doing. Right? Continue. Because attitude determines how successful we will be. Appear self-confident, very important. To grow, to take opportunities. Willing to learn new skills. Alright. If you do not have confidence, you will find it very hard to learn new work, new skills. So, productivity, ako na nag-explain ninyo, right? Just follow the directions and procedures. You will be safe. Maintain equipment supplies, keep work area neat and clean. Stay on task, utilize time constructively. And organizational skills, alright. Prioritize and manage time and stress effectively. It is expected of us as an employee that we will be having stress, work-related stress, because maybe puno kayo sa trabaho. But let's just manage our time and handle our stress. Remember, naa sa working environment, ang working environment mismo, stressor na siya. Ang mga empleyado is stressor po na. Ang trabaho is stressor po na siya. Naabisag asa. Ngano na stress ta? It is because we were not able to manage the stress. Right? Remember that. So you should be flexible. Adapt to changes. There is a new manager. Implements a new rules. Okay, just adapt to changes. After all, every person na nag-handle always think for the company or the organization. So just adapt. Something happens, anyway, iyaraman ng siya may manager. We are just a we are just a follower. But we also have to be a good soldier. We need to be a good soldier. Time management techniques, ask for help. Many are scared to ask for help. Of course, tingali inaon nga, why nahibawaan? People all around you are paid to help. Time management techniques, calendar, pocket, wall, desk, mark activity, do this. Ako, kalendaryo ang ako. Naka-deadline. Ako, priority na ako. Record, nabot klase after this. So, giset na ako. 10 o'clock to 12 ta. After, because at 1 o'clock, nako ko online class nga pagahimon. So, I just manage my time. Kani, communication. We're almost done. Remember that the reason why an organization failed is because lack of communication. When there is lack of communication, there is failure of communication. It means there is barrier. The success of the organization, the company, depends upon how the management will communicate to the employees. Kita nga empleyado, we should also communicate to our supervisors. If we find it difficult, we ask for help. We tell them, right? If there's something wrong, we communicate, because that is important. The communication is a key, is a key to success of the organization, right? Okay. Communication, cooperation, very important. Willingness to assist, which I have already explained to you. We demonstrate people fairly, treat people fairly and equitably. We displayed leadership skills. We always have to train those new employees. Then, lastly, respect should be the first thing you give. Respect cannot be bought. Respect is king. Remember, treat instructors, managers, supervisors, your boss, your co-workers with respect. Be courteous. A simple saying, "Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon. Good evening, sir," is a sign of courtesy and a sign of respect. Right? Do not engage in harassment of any kind. I know, isog mo. I know nga naamoy ego. I know nga amoy prinsipyo. But engaging with another person is, to me, irrelevant. Nonsense. Why would you quarrel with your coworker? Why would you quarrel with your boss? If you don't like, just simply go out. Huh? Because kana makiglales kasi mong kuan, baka mental stress po na siya. And it will not do good to you. It will do harm to you personally and to your job. You might lose your job. You might be suspended because you might be out of control. Imong masagpa, imong masinggitan, imong boss siya. You might be out of control. And if you do that, you will have problems. You will be facing charges. You will be out of the organization. If not, the least is suspension. Know the legal definition of sexual harassment. Kanya, with you. Kita kag imong mga coworkers, with you. Yeah. Simut-simuto ng buhok. Right? Pika-pika po ng kamot. Agbayan. These are sexual harassment. It's a sign of disrespect. Especially to remember, naabiyatay violence against women. And remember also, mas daghan ang balaod nga naghatag og suporta sa mga kababaihan. We even do celebrate Women's Month. I never heard of Man's Month. Women's Month, Women's Day, International Women's Day. I have not heard of International Man's Day, Man's Month. Wow. Right? Wa sad ko kabati og giingon nga violence against men, violence against women, right? They are more protected than us. I am not telling na unfair. It's just that it's a Filipino culture and values, right? Values na nga ang lalaki nga Pinoy matahuron gyud na sa babae. Mao bitaw na nga sugton gyud ta ug manguyab kay matahuron man gyud ta. We may be very dominant, but it does not follow kung dominant ta di ta pusong mamon gyapon ta. Huh? Okay. Deal appropriately with cultural and racial diversity. Of course, it does not follow nga Muslim siya. It does not follow nga taga-bukid siya. It does not follow nga Igorot siya. You will not respect him or her. You have to respect them. Muslim ka makabuboy. Ayaw. Nagdito mo sa restaurant, o dito mo sa iyong canteen. Ansud boy. Nya imong kauban, imong inaon nga, "Uy, kang kabuboy." Naon mo ang Muslim ng tao. Ayaw. Deal with them appropriately according to their culture and religious belief. Right? Do not discriminate them for their religion, for their belief, for their culture, for their practices. Right? If they respect, then we them. Because respect should be the first thing you give. Respect with coworkers, with the company managers, with the supervisors, with your coworkers, and with the executive or the board of directors is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank first Sir Bilias for inviting me as your speaker for work ethic orientation. I hope that everything is clear. Thank you and congratulations for finishing our orientation this morning. Thank you for your online attendance. I hope that I was able to give you very important, significant information about work ethics, which you will be able to when you are already hired, when you are already in company, when you are already with the different companies, when you are already working in your own field specialization. Thank you very much, and in behalf of the PI, thank you and congratulations, Sir Bilias, for a successful orientation on the work ethics. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Any clarification? Justification regarding our topic this morning?
None, sir.
None, sir. Lagi panggutom na mo?
Kutob na dyan.
Gamay, sir.
So,
Kamay na lang.
mabalik ko man taon
Kulang,
na
sir.
no?
Sir.
Okay. So, ato na ni conclude. Okay. On behalf of the SIP team, first and foremost, I would like to express my appreciation to the speaker, not only a speaker, no, but a trainer and mentor for his valuable contribution to this webinar. To Sir Tugunon, sir, your presentation was so incredible that I'm finding it difficult getting the right words to express my gratitude to you. Thank you very much, sir. That amazing lecture that you shared them a great honor for us. My deepest gratitude goes to all who attended the webinar, especially to you, my dear OGT. I hope that this activity will help you guide what to do in real work scenario. If you don't have a question, and will be concluded this moment, I am your OGT or SIP officer. When the Vilya says, only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. Thank you and have a good day. Then by 3 p.m. no, ato lang i-remind ang kuha nato nga session, next session will be Miss Judith Mamalis with the topic spiritual care, a deeper immunity, a response to COVID-19 pandemic.
Sir.
Wala naman ibang punta.
Wala na, sir.
Okay. Good noon. And have a great day. By the way, magkuhan tag attendance. Sir Tugunon, napaka sir.
Yes, sir. Salamat kayo, sir.
Na.
Salamat kayo, sir.
Naglag akong kuan. Palihog kog on sa inyo video. Palihog tanan. Documentation lang para natay kuan support sa ato ang activity karon para makita po na ko inyong mga kagwapong kagwapa. Okay, palihog lang. Okay. Palihog. Maganda ba? Kasi sir, sa yung klase para karong hapon, yung kamo po, maganda ba punta?
Little Chris na may guwapo.
Okay, palihog. Napay wala pagkabati, no?
Buha GM, uy.
Okay. Ready na tanan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In count of 3, I will be...
No.
Okay. 2. Okay, sa camera. 3. Thank you. And good noon. Sir Tugunon, salamat kayo, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Goal. Goal.
Dos na lang,